So Yama, and Yama means to the conduct, regulated conduct in relation to the external world. The first important point of Yama is ahimsa. And ahimsa, all these terms actually do not have an exact equivalent in other languages, in English too. So we can say non-harming. That means not inflicting pains on others with the intention of doing so. It's one can say, okay, it doesn't take much effort to do that. I don't really need to follow any principles. And some people say, I don't follow any religion, I don't follow any rituals, but I don't harm others, I don't tell lies, I don't cheat. There is no need for me to learn more than this. There is no need. But we find that the morality, the balanced state of mind of a person who sincerely thinks like this, may become lost at the time of provocation, at the time of when the influence of external allurements is very powerful. There are many situations, many unexpected situations in life which test our endurance, our ability, our integrity. And sometimes they test us to the limit. To just regularly not be inclined to cheat others does not mean that under the pressure of circumstances one will not agree to cheat others. There are many people who may not have committed the crimes, the social crimes they committed, if the gains would have been much smaller than what they anticipated. But they decided to rationalize their conduct because if you don't need, no need to cheat for $5, but for 5 million, if you have to cheat a little bit, you may want to do that. So under different situations, mind responds differently. It has been said, I think by George Bernard Shaw, that morality is the want of opportunity. He said it in a humorous way. He meant to say that the people who are proud of their not telling lies, not cheating, not harming others, need not be so proud after all, because if they were in dire circumstances, they might behave very differently. If the opportunities for enjoyment came to them and demanded that they give up some of their principles, they might do that. So non-harming means to cultivate the habit, the awareness, the consciousness that harming others ultimately really also means harming oneself. So here again, I'd like to stress the fact that it's not an idea, it's not a principle, I must not harm others. It's what is suggested here is that the awareness be cultivated. That's the idea of non-harming others become more and more expanded in a person's mind. What is the need for people to harm others? Many times we harm without knowing, but sometimes we harm knowingly, we harm deliberately and consciously. Why do we do that? We do that for the same reason that people do that, for the same reason that they cheat, they tell lies, they steal, for the same one reason. For the same one reason. Because they need to validate their selfishness, their ego. That selfishness takes root in the mind and distorts it distorts it so much that every expression is that tainted by that selfishness. So people steal because usually they feel that they need or they want something that they cannot procure without stealing. Now, people tell lies because they have to defend themselves or protect themselves or hide their guilt. So it's always, whenever there is a deviation from one's state of natural balance and harmony, whenever there is a disruption, it's always caused by one's perceived need to vindicate one's ego, to uphold one's selfishness. Though this is usually concealed, this motivation remains concealed. Also, the reason that makes us harm or hurt others deliberately is that we need to vindicate ourselves. We need to get back. We need to at them. We need to establish the fact that we ultimately win. We need to have the last word. We need to be in the upper position. So, if a mind that thinks like this tries to meditate, it becomes difficult then to progress on the path of meditation, on the path of self-realization, because the two trends are negating each other. If in my actions, if in my practical life I act in ways that strengthen my selfishness and my ego, and then once or twice a day I do a few minutes of meditation to try to realize the essence of my nature, which is not at all my ego, then I'm doing two different things, two very qualitatively different things. That's why for the meditator, particularly, for all in fact, but particularly for the meditator, it is important to tune one's mind in such a way that when we express ourselves, when we relate to the external world, when we are confronted with different situations, we project the same spirit of selflessness, the same essence that is within us, that doesn't need to defend itself, that doesn't need to vindicate itself, that doesn't need to procure things for its subsistence beyond what is, that doesn't have all these needs. So then we realize that in order to live peacefully, harmoniously, happily, and in order to move towards our spiritual goal, we have to become conscious of how we relate to the world also.